Hey guys, and welcome to a brand new video here on FPL Now. Today we're going to be going over a potential wildcard draft for Game Week 9. So if you're excited for the video, drop a like down below, leave a comment. Are you thinking of wildcarding throughout the international break? Subscribe if you're brand new, and let's get into the video. So, starting things off, if you are wildcarding in this international break, it puts you in quite a nice position because there potentially could be injuries over the international break, such as like Isak's obviously had to go home with like an injury, and there's been a few others. So like big players like that people are transferring in this week, like you've already transferred Isak in and he's potentially injured, it's not going to leave you in the best spot. Whereas if you're on a wild card, you can just get rid of him. It's always nice to just wild card an international break as well. It's just a lot safer. But either way, if you are on a wild card this week, this is the kind of draft that I would personally put together. So in goal, we do have Turner and Areola. Another good option instead of Areola, if you do have a little bit more money, is of course Raya. Raya seems to be the number one at Arsenal now, and they do have some nice fixtures coming up. Obviously Chelsea away this week, but you can just play Turner, who's got Luton at home. There's no problem there. And then after that, you've got Raya, who's got Sheffield United at home. I mean, then it's Newcastle away for Arsenal, and it's also Villa at home for Forest. So, you know, whichever one you'd want to play there, probably the Raya pick. And then obviously the fixtures for Arsenal get a lot better. So Raya's only like 4.7, I believe, off the top of my head. He's not that expensive. He's 4.8, so he's 0.1 more than Gabriel, who is at the moment the cheapest Arsenal defender that's going to be like playing every single game. But if you do want to go with Raya over Gabriel, then obviously he's a really good shout, because like I say, game week 10 onwards, Arsenal's fixtures get really, really good, and he seems to be the number one keeper. I know that Arteta was like, yeah, he's going to rotate the keepers this season, but it doesn't seem like he's doing that at all. So yeah, I'd personally go with Raya if I was going to go for like an Arsenal goalkeeper. But either way, if you want to play it safe, Areola is obviously a really good shout as well, because West Ham's fixtures are really, really good from game week 10 onwards. So yeah, those are the goalkeepers. Like I say, you'd play Turner this week and then Areola next week, because Everton at home is still a really nice fixture for West Ham, and they've been playing really well this season. Anyway, those are the two goalkeepers. At the back, we do have Cash, Gabriel, Burn, Porro, and Kabore. Kabore did, of course, get benched in the last game, so this could be any 4 mil defender if you want to do. Kabore is just in there because his numbers are a little bit better than other 4 mil defenders, but because of that benching possibility, it just kind of like put you off him a little bit. But there are like, you know, you could go Taylor as well for Burnley, who's a little bit cheaper, and will obviously net that extra 0.1 mil if you wanted to go that way, just give you a little bit of extra money. But I don't think he's like 100% nailed as well. I mean, he kind of is. He's played 90 over the last like few game weeks, so he's not like the worst player to bring in if you do want someone just to come off the bench. It's a Burnley defender. He's not going to be getting you many points at all. But hey, 3.9 mil defender who is a playing player is quite good. Kabore with the benching, with the kind of benching possibility, isn't like the best. And then we've got Porro over Udogie. Porro was really unlucky not to score in the Luton fixture. I definitely think he's a better option than Udogie if you do have a little bit of extra money to spare, just simply because his numbers are much better. He's getting a lot more shots, he's getting a lot more forward. Udogie is still a nice option as well. Like I say, if you bought Udogie for 4.5, you're on a wild card and you're thinking of upgrading to Porro, I'd probably just stay on Udogie because you got him at a really nice price point. But if you are on a wild card and you're trying to, I guess, moving on to the Spurs defenders from now, I'd probably say Porro is a little bit better. If you do have the extra funds, I think he's actually 5.1 now. He is 5.1 and Udogie is like 4.8. So there is still a 0.3 difference. I picked him up for 5 mil because obviously I played my wild card last week. But I still think he's a much better option. Like, he's going to hopefully reward you for that extra 0.3 further on in the season. Hopefully in the Fulham or the Crystal Palace game. We've then got Dan Burn as well. Again, Trippier is... he is a miss in this wildcard draft, but you can't have everyone. You just simply can't. But Trippier is like, if there's one thing in this draft that I wish I could have, it would be Trippier, because he's just a bonus point magnet. I mean, they conceded 2 against West Ham, and he's still got like 2 bonus or something like that from just 1 assist. It's just the amount of chances that he creates off set pieces, just down the wing, stuff like that. He's just a really, really good option. Dan Burn is still a good option as well. Like, he's a solid player to have from that Newcastle defense, just simply because he's only 4 point... I think he actually might be 4.6 now. He is 4.6. Yeah, he's a 90-minute man. He's massive as well. So on set pieces, he's really, really good. And yeah, obviously, he's not going to be getting you those assists and stuff like Trippier does. He's not going to be getting you those bonus points. But you're going to have to hope that the rest of your team can kind of make up for that to kind of outscore Trippier. But yeah, Trippier is definitely a huge miss on this wildcard draft. Gone Gabriel as well, just simply because it kind of just saves you a transfer down the line. Obviously, Chelsea away. I mean, you could even play him for Chelsea away. They just obviously kept a clean sheet against City. And Chelsea away, I feel like is going to be a decent fixture for Arsenal. But if you didn't want to play him this week, you just play Cash, Burn, and Porro because, you know, they've all got really good fixtures. And then you'd play Gabriel like next week. Obviously, it gives you a bit of a benching headache next week. But you could just play like 4 at the back instead of a midfielder or something. But yeah, Gabriel's in there. Again, looks to be like a 90-minute man now. He looks to be nailed, and he's a lot cheaper than Saliba. I like Saliba as a better option, but Gabriel is still a massive threat on set pieces, and I think he will reward owners with a bullet header or 2 throughout this season. So he's in the draft, and then we've also gone Cash as well. He's had a few price rises lately. He is shooting up in... he's actually 5 mil now, which is absolutely insane. So yeah, I mean, you kind of needed to pick him up earlier on in the season. I still think he's a really good option for 5 mil, just because the amount of, like I say, he's a little bit like a Porro. Like, he's getting so forward, he's getting a lot of shots. He was really unlucky not to score as well at the weekend. So I really like him as an option, and yeah, I think he's worth the 5 mil. But this is what I mean. This is why it was kind of the advantage of playing the wild card in like game week 8, 7 or whatever, as opposed to game week 10, is the players that you're going to be bringing in on these wild cards, like your Matty Cashes, stuff like that, they're a lot more expensive. Like, I think if you played your wild card in game week 7, Matty Cash was like 4.7 or something, 4.8. Now he's 5 mil, and that's probably going to go up higher as well over like the international break and game week 9 and stuff. And when people are playing their wildcard in game week 10, he might be 5.1, maybe even 5.2, which isn't great because that's a massive extra load of money that you're just putting on a defender that you could have got for a lot cheaper. I completely understand. Obviously, every team is, you know, everybody's team is different. It's team dependent whether you play a wild card or not. It's just that's why I didn't want to hold off too. Like, obviously, game week 10 wild card is very nice because you can bring in your Brighton and your Arsenal players, but the other players that you're going to have on both wildcards, it's just you're going to lose a lot of value on those. Anyway, that's the back line. In midfield, we've gone for Salah, Maddison, Son, Bowen, and Neto. I think all of these are close to a price rise. If not, I've already had a price rise. Maddison is now 8.1. Son is now, I believe, 9.3. No, 9.5. Jesus, oh my lord. It's actually ridiculous how much these guys are going up. But yeah, Maddison and Son are just really good options. And yeah, I really like them for the next like 5 fixtures. I think they'll do really, really well. So yeah, I mean, we need to know who's going to take the penalty as well. Like, Son, I think, should be on penalties, you know, but at the same time, it could be Maddison. It could be someone else. You don't know. But yeah, Son and Maddison, I still really like the triple up on Spurs. You know, that Luton fixture was really unfortunate in terms of, I mean, all of them returned really apart from Son. Like, Maddison got an assist. If you had Udogie, Porro, whatever, they all got the clean sheet. Son was unlucky not to score. But obviously losing that man and going down to 10 didn't really help at all. The XG that Luton conceded in the first like 20 minutes was ridiculous. Like, Spurs were really unlucky not to be like 2-3 up. But yeah, I still really like them as like the double up in midfield. Obviously, Salah's a no-brainer. You kind of have to have him on the draft, really. He's just going to get better and better, especially with the fixtures coming up. Like, honestly, I don't see a game that he doesn't like do well in over the next few. Like, Everton at home, Forest at home, Luton away, Brentford at home. Like, Brentford have been bad this season. He loves scoring against City. And then it's still Fulham, Sheffield United, Palace. Like, he loves scoring against United. Like, he's such a hold now for a long, long time, unless he gets, like, some sort of injury or something. So, yeah, Salah, I think, is just going to be a set and forget. Yeah, you're not going to be captaining him every single week. But, like, you know, you could definitely captain him against the Forest at home game, whereas Haaland has United away or something like that if you wanted to go against Haaland. But yeah, Salah I really like on the draft. Also gone Bowen and Neto as well. Bowen really unlucky not to get a return in the last game against Newcastle. But, you know, the West Ham fixtures get so much better after game week 9. Like, I'd still have him on the game week 9 wildcard because I think he's definitely capable of scoring against Villa. But then he's got Everton, Brentford, Forest, Burnley, Palace, Fulham, Wolves, like all these really, really good fixtures coming up. And yeah, Bowen's been really, really good this season. His numbers have been very, very positive, and I really like him as an extra, like a good midfielder on the wild card. And then finishing things off, also got Neto as well. Like, people are definitely sleeping on Neto. He's only 8.4% owned, but he's returned in every single game apart from the first 2, which arguably 2 tough fixtures. Like, United, a tough fixture at the start of the season before they kind of like fell off. And then Brighton's very much a hot or cold team. They can go massive against you, or you can go massive against them. There's not really any in between. They don't usually like win a game 1-0. They'll either score 4 or 5 or they'll concede 4 or 5. Like, that's just it. But yeah, since then, even though they've been losing games, he got 7 points against Everton, 10 against Crystal Palace, 5 against Liverpool, 9 against Luton, 4 against City, 5 against Villa, and he should have had a lot more against Villa as well. He should have definitely scored in that game. So for 5.6, in fact, he might actually be 5.7 now. He is 5.7. I definitely rate him a lot higher than Gordon, which is kind of like the alternate. It's like Neto or Gordon, really, one of those. And, you know, Gordon is still a nice option. But I think Neto, I think he's definitely being slept on. I think he's going to be a really good option this season. So those are the midfielders. And then up top, we have Archer. He's just your enabler. You don't have to have him. Like, Sheffield United aren't great. There are other options. If you wanted to do like a 3-4-3 or something, you could definitely bring someone else in there. Again, Awonyu was a good shout, but he's injured. I don't really know what the situation is on him. We'll have to wait over the international break, see what happens with him. And then also we've got Watkins and Haaland as well. I do like Darwin Núñez as well as an option. He's really, really good, especially with the fixtures coming up. But again, over the international break, you know, players will be coming back. Like Gakpo might be back. Obviously, Jota's got a suspension, so he'll be back. So there are like other options that will be also available to Klopp. But I still like Núñez as an option. But I just think Watkins, you know, he just keeps returning in every single game. He was really unlucky to only come out with 5 points in that Wolves game. Definitely should have got like a goal. Definitely should have been awarded a penalty as well when he got pushed in the back. So yeah, I really like Watkins going forward. And then Haaland is obviously just there. I mean, I've seen a lot of wildcard drafts without Haaland. You know, I do like them, but you can't have like Alvarez in there and be like, oh, Alvarez covers Haaland, because he just doesn't. And Alvarez actually got an early sub as well, I believe, in the last fixture against Arsenal. But either way, that is the wildcard draft for Game Week 9. I'll probably make an updated one in case there's any injuries and stuff next week. And I'll probably bring my team selection out on Friday. So yeah, like I say, there'll still be videos and content this week. It'll just be kind of every other day, because over the international break, there's not really too much to talk about, unless there's like a big injury or like a double game we gets announced or whatever. But either way, yeah, that's the Game Week 9 wildcard draft at this point in time. Again, could be changed if we get injuries and stuff. I'll keep you guys updated. But thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like down below. Leave a comment. What are your thoughts on this wildcard? Subscribe if you're brand new. Ring the notification bell. It's everything from me. Have a great rest of your day. And until next time, peace.